And that is the end of the first chapter of this fanfic about why Kate is the best. And, oh hey, I didn't see you there. Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. We've got, I'm Neon Gray, and we're here for game 2 of, DekarSMASH versus rhybon. And with me in the booth is Nth. How you doing, Nth?
I'm so moved by chapter 1 of that fic. But yeah, no, very excited to be here. I was going to, while we were talking in the chat, someone mentioned who do you want to see as the hero. I was going to be like, I kind of want something like Power Couple to start with. Something boring. And as a joke, I don't actually think it's boring. But hey, it looks like we actually got a Rosa start, so I might have been psychic, and I'm glad I didn't say that, so it doesn't seem like I was calling this boring before it even starts, because this is going to be a very exciting race either way.
Yeah, Rosa's always an interesting hero. A little bit challenging, just because, well, she's a fantastic character. Her growth isn't always quite where and what you want it to be. And I do always love that palette. It's maybe not my favorite of hers, but that's just because she's got so many good palettes, and one of them is like a Wonder Woman palette, which is really good on her. But I love that shade of blue on her. That's a great palette.
It is.
Shoutouts to Scala for all the great palettes.
Yeah, 100%. No, I like that one. Very nice shade of blue. Which, very important here. I think really when I think of Rosa hero, my first question is, okay, but who's with her? Because she doesn't really change everything on her own, and it really just depends on who you have accompanying her, what you want her to do as well.
Yeah, and she picks up fairly well, but she also doesn't really start with a lot of oomph. So, unironically, Kane is a great start for her to start with. Otherwise, we've got some fun little objectives here going with the standard 3. We've got a Troya Treasury check required, and a Barren Castle, which, that can take a bit of time, and they are off.
Yeah, I think the second character here, Tella. Okay.
It's not who I wanted to see. Well, we might get an edge. We could get an edge. That could be an edge in that package.
Yeah, I feel like with Rosa and Tella, you just go check the package right away and hope for the best, and then inevitably it'll be like Tella number 2 or something like that, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, yeah, might as well. That Rubicant there too also kind of means that we're not just waiting for just the Baron key and then hopefully Wyverns at that spot. It sort of makes that a little bit less likely to be as valuable.
Yeah. So, let's see if our runners agree with the notion of going for that package once they're finished scrolling through the objectives. No, and no. Well then.
Well, I was hoping, but it seems not. It looks like Dekar is gonna at least go check what this Baron in character is, and that's Edward, so I get a feeling he's gonna be left until quite a bit later instead of trying to get through. It's like you can make Edward work for a while with the right equipment, but we don't have it yet, so there's no rush.
Yeah, I tend to feel like, you can get a lot of mileage out of an Edward, more than people give him credit for, but in general, he's not gonna be your first choice, most of the time. Dekar going to Edland first, which, yeah, I can see it. Getting something like a samurai bow out of here, or even an arty bow for, that Rosa, that would make up a huge difference. And I think, you're more likely to get that out of here than out of this Watery Pass. But the Watery Pass check, with Tella in tow is, of course, also helped along by having Tella's exit.
Yeah, definitely. And sort of going back to what we were saying at the start about, Rosa's start kind of depends a lot on who you have paired with her. That tele means you probably really, really want some form of bow and arrows for that Rosa as soon as possible, just that you have some source of damage that's not limited by Tele's MP pool.
Yes, and so either way, some great options for the initial loot. Tiara, not helpful offensively to that Rosa in the slightest, but that is a lot of defense for the early checks.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really seen too much that's particularly exciting on either side, so that Tiara just seems like so much more, like a great pickup almost in comparison, just because we haven't really found anything. That Dancing Dagger rhybon just found could be the real big prize, though, so far.
Rhybon pulls a Poison Axe. I saw a Gungnir in Eblan. Great weapons for, well, no, a Poison Axe is not a great, acceptable weapons for people who aren't in this party.
It's nice when you find things for people who aren't here, because it means that, when you find them, you're even more excited to find them than you would be otherwise.
It gives you hope for the future, yeah.
Like, say that this package ends up being a dupe, Mount Hobbs ends up being a dupe, then you're going to be really excited if you're Rhybon to have that Dancing Dagger to put on that Edward, because that'll get you at least some damage through it. Also, how you were going to be excited to have one Sparkle off the table already with those D-Lunars and Mistcave.
That's a Cecil, he's not taking that.
I'm kind of surprised he's not taking that, even though he doesn't really have the best Cecil weapons. He does have a Poison Axe, which Cecil can equip, so that would at least be something to get that Cecil off the ground. Maybe he'll come back later, possibly, if he finds something else, but...
Yeah, like, I actually agree with leaving him right now. You don't have, like, a black sword already. He might have gotten a black... I think I might have seen a black sword on somebody's screen, but I don't remember whose. But that said, he's
the black armor that Rhybon picked up.
Oh, that could be, But either way, you don't have anything to, basically make you need him now. So, he's there. Let's say we pick up a Holy Sword, we know we can get him. And moreover, the fact that he's there means there's a good chance we can get him at a less time-consuming spot.
Yeah, that
could be on this Mount Hobbs.
Those are all very fair points that I didn't really think about immediately. Who's at this Mount Hobbs, I feel, is going to matter a lot, because right now we only know we have a Cecil who's stuck as a Dark Knight without having too much, and an Edward who is an Edward.
Yeah, and who's at a check right now that, of course. But that Edward is behind a check that is not the most accessible to this party right now. With the starting Thor rages, we can get through that Octomam, but whatever's behind there could very easily be ugly.
Definitely. I'm kind of interested in, firstly, Dekar taking this fight, and secondly, how sort of low damage this party is so far. Because even if we were to pick up... Yeah. Even if we were to pick up, like, every single character in the seed that we know of right now, this party still wouldn't look very good quite yet.
Yeah. This is almost certainly an XP play. Yeah, because, like, Rosa does not start with Life 1, among other things, and we get that Cure 2 right off. Silkweb right there, I think, makes that worth it immediately. And of course, these are some just really actually quite high potential checks. Yeah, the Mute Knife would have been nice. Actually, no, we can't use it, but the Rune Ring is also a very nice find.
You know who can use a Mute Knife? Edward.
Okay, you download this seed, and you start it up, and you get that Edward first thing.
I am nowhere near good enough at this game for that. I will openly admit right away.
I think being good at this game also involves knowing I'm not going to do that right now.
That is a very fair point, but I mean, at very least, if we get funneled through all this overworld and have to prepare for a hook route that right now is looking like it's going to have a Paladin Cecil wielding a Poison Axe and Edward doing his best, and that's about it for damage, I mean, he's gonna be somewhat valuable to that party. Also, this gauntlet is interesting to have here.
We've got all these Thor Rages, they're gonna come in handy, I guess, and look at that, Tilla's gonna try and cast a spell. Oh, those Thor Rages aren't gonna come in handy at all.
Let's see how this Blizzard does over on rhybon's side. Maybe that'll come in handier here. Because I think, yeah, these gotta be weak to ice. Oh, that does take out 2 of them, so that is doing a bit better there. Tella bonking and missing, though.
Would have been better if Attila had used that Blizzard, because they are hit point based. But, right, looks like, right, Dekar picked up a Silent Staff, so Rosa can bonk pretty effectively. We just gotta keep her up and running. But I think we're gonna be here for a bit, so how's your day?
It's great. I love this gauntlet. It's got the, like, Weeper enemies in it that are, like, playing their invisible synthesizers like they're in the excellent 1980s music video for Separate Ways by Journey, which I highly recommend watching because it is absolutely hilarious.
It's true. I mean, you cannot top the 80s for a good music video.
I mean, look at them. They're like playing a piano keyboard that just does not exist here while sitting here.
And you know, I noticed rhybon named his Rosa Candy Corn. I think that is unfair to Rosa. Why would you name your Rosa a good character after Candy Corn, a bad candy?
I feel like I'm a candy corn apologist, so I can't really answer that entirely accurately myself. I don't think it's like bad. I don't think it's like great. I would call candy corn like something that I would eat and not be disappointed in it. That's a hook. That is scary.
That's, you know what, I would actually be thrilled to see that. You know, you get your, for one, you know, you get your elevated shops, your locked shops in Emlad. You get again, another locked character check back there, and you get a bunch of those chests. You're gonna get a chance to this is really gonna be able to get this Rosa off the ground, I think. Like, I am thrilled to see that. And that's a Dark Elf off the table. That's a mediocre boss in a spot that we don't ever have to fight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a character that helps there too. So we're gonna see Dekar just go over here and immediately raise the hovercraft. So I kind of have to assume that he's gonna immediately head over and check that hook route.
Yeah,
So I'll be interested if rhybon does the same because I kind of think he will.
Yeah, I feel like if with this party, and a hook right there, there is no way you don't just immediately start, you know, diving that cave. Just, get everything you can out of there, not least because you have exit. You've got exit. You want what's in here.
I feel like that's the real, like, benefit of Tella that we don't talk about too much because everyone I feel like when we see Tella we're like, oh, well, that's just gonna enable D machines later, but that exit early on is such a nice thing to have. Even just like as it feels good to have exit at the start so you're not having to slowly walk out of all these places.
Yeah, like all the places you need to exit out of are, you know, they're really front-loaded in the game. So, you know, I am a noted non-fan of Tella, but, having him at the start of the game, oh, samurai arrows, that's amazing. Yeah, we're getting 19 of them. Where's Martin when you need him?
Okay, but you can also buy an assassin dagger, and you know who can use that assassin dagger?
No.
Edward.
No. They are looting less. Oh, there was a siren in that chest. Very nice.
Just here to do my best to make Edward a thing today. But yeah, that siren is real nice to have in this party where it feels like we're going to be pretty low on power for quite a while because anything we can do to pop them early. That cane is, like you said earlier, really, really helpful here.
Yeah, Daker's already got a Gungnir. Rhybon's got a poison axe. You know who else could use that assassin dagger?
Fair, but
And the dancing dagger.
yeah, but not
And
as stylishly.
he also has long flowing blonde hair.
Are we sure that... is there ever a scene in this game in which Kane and Edward are in the same room? Like in vanilla?
In the Game Boy Advance version.
Game Boy Advance version.
Oh yes, Fabul Castle. Fabul Castle.
What if that's a different character wearing the Kane armor?
I think Cecil would know. And there's an elven bow for that, Rosa. Very nice.
I mean, I feel like this cave has really given us a very large power spike so far in the seed with that elven bow, with that curse ring, yeah.
Yeah, that could be fantastic on a Rosa hero just because her agility situation can be quite awkward at times.
Especially if you find something like a life staff or something like that to offset the stat penalty a bit in order to just make it so that she's slower without necessarily being unable to heal. So that's going to put a pretty big premium on finding like a really good white mage staff if you end up wanting to use Rosa as a white mage at the end of the seed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Of course, if you've got Kane in your party, if you then find an edge, say, on the moon or in Dwarf Castle, you know, you get those two guys in your party. We know Cecil's in the seed. You know, we have an alternative setup we can do for Rosa, which is Artie Bow and Heroin, which will put her into the 40s for agility. Your boys will be also quite fast.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. Like, I'd love seeing Rosa being able to hit things too, so if that ends up being the case, although again, you know, that's going to put another premium on life staff if you want to use the Artemis arrow, or not Artemis, Heroin robe, that's the one I mean. And, you know, still use Rosa as your healer, you can still offset that penalty. So I feel like this is sort of turning into the thing that they might want to see without realizing it is just a stronger staff right now. Because I feel like we're in pretty good shape.
I mean, the silent staff that Dekar's got is plus 10 wisdom. That's only 5 less than a life staff. That is pretty great, and it is quite a powerful bonk stick, so.
Yeah, rhybon's now going over to Mount Ordeals. He found a lightsaber in the Eblin Cave, so I'm wondering if this has just sort of driven him to just want to come over here to Ordeals real quick, get up here, and then get that Cecil online as quickly as possible. And I feel like once you get through that, at this point, we're pretty much set if we have to go through a hook route.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that's Leviathan down there. That's plenty doable.
It's Leviathan, is where I would put it. I apologize.
And here's Bathunmut.
These summons are showing up in really fascinating places here in the seed. But also King and Queen Eblin is a really good thing to find here on Mount Ordeals, because I feel like the only downside to this Mount Ordeals play is that the second spot here and first spot could be a bit sketchy with this party. So getting that like free experience without too much worry onto Kane is going to be really, really helpful here.
I mean, it's nice for the XP, but I always hate seeing King Queen Eblin in this spot in particular, because the front spot is, you know, barring a few possible things, you know, this is kind of a joke spot. I don't like seeing a particularly easy boss here. I want a boss who's, if I'm playing for good things, I want to see a boss who's punchy. In other spots here, because it's a very weak spot, noodle armed.
Yeah, but if you want to see good things, you might want to turn your attention over to Dekar's side, where that Fabul just gave Earth Crystal, so that's an objective. And that's 2 character checks, and that's probably going to be our treasury here real quick, so that's actually a really, really nice prize, and a bit concerning considering rhybon might be tempted to commit more to fading Fabul, especially if he finds a Magma Key.
Yeah, and here's another interesting thing, because, you know, we have all seen this treasury roll high. Are we gonna find something in here that makes that package check worthwhile?
Absolutely. I think that just means it's time to play a game.
Oh, baby. 3 ninja hats and a heroin robe. That's beautiful.
You want your party to go fast? We're going fast today.
Oh, I would have preferred a sword of some sort, but a heroin robe and 3 ninja hats? Find a naming way, rename that Rosa Sonic, cause she gotta go fast.
I think it's time to replace the Rate That Treasury music with the Daytona USA theme at the moment.
Or, you know, maybe some sort of, like, Sonic the Hedgehog song, because... like, that's... And that's Wyvern, in the chamber. I completely missed who was, in the back attack, so they can't have been very relevant. But the Wyvern is relevant.
The back attack was dolls, so this is about the most easy ordeals I've seen in quite a while, especially with that, I believe it was Charm?
Oh, no, it was a breath. But of course, Rosa's got a headband on, and if you get hit with a breath, or any multi-status thing, if you block one status, you block all of them.
That's really, really helpful, because that also means that, you know, we've got 2 objectives out of the way once rhybon goes up to Fabul, and I gotta imagine Dekar will, you know, go back to Mount Ordeals at some point in time. And so we are really just 2 key items away from go mode at the moment. We need that Baron Key and we need that Darkness Crystal, but at any moment this could start going way faster.
And Dekar has, in fact, loaded on all of that speed gear. He's gonna go for this pokey little spot, and he's gonna pick up our other boy.
It's Edward, he's here.
Oh, and there's a rat tail on Ordeals, so let's see what's here. That's Valvolus in the second spot. It does not matter that we have a K now, because this spot is a joke spot for Valvolus.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And also what's interesting is that this means this can't... Well, actually, no, it can be a Magma Key. Never mind, we already have one way underground.
Yes. But it's not super likely for it to be a Magma Key at this point.
No, but I feel like that's probably going to be what's leading our runners at this point, because I feel like you can't really commit to a hook route until you've eliminated Magma Key, at least in this particular flag setup and this party setup.
Yeah,
So...
like you're always hoping. Wrong key.
You know, there are 4 different keys in this game, and yeah, we had a 50-50 shot of it being the right one. Artemis arrows for a rat tail is not a bad prize, though.
I am not gonna complain about that on a Rosa hero. Not gonna complain about that at all. I'd still complain if that was a pink tail result, but yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna zonk from the rat tail, you might as well get something that's useful for you.
Yeah.
rhybon is heading over to this hook route, though, but might just be dropping the hovercraft. Yeah, just dropping the hovercraft there. So he's gonna head over to Baron now, which we know is just gonna get this Luca key.
Yeah. Dekar moving back, finally looping back to take Ordeals.
You know, one thing we didn't note is there are Medusa arrows in this Baron Inn, and those could also be very, very useful, especially if we end up doing like popping those eggs later. I believe you can Medusa Arrow those as well, so that's one way of dealing with those if you want to get a quick XP boost once we get underground, so that could be very interesting.
You can do that. I always find it a real pain to work out the timing for things that don't take visible actions like the eggs, but yeah, no, it's very doable.
Very interesting question in chat. Is someone gonna pick up the Cecil before heading to the hook route? Probably, maybe, I don't know. I feel like if rhybon didn't pick up the Cecil now, he's probably not entirely invested in picking up that Cecil, honestly, because he's already got him online through Mount Ordeals at this point, so I don't really know. Yeah, Zot could be next, but rhybon doesn't know that at this point, because he hasn't done Fabul either, so I'm trying to figure out what rhybon's strategy is at this point.
Yeah, I think just trying for the Fabul fade. We'll see what happens if he sticks to that once he just gets a Luca key out of this. Certainly with a party like this, you want to get all the XP you can before going hook.
Yeah, I feel like just everyone's so close together in this tournament that at very least if I were in rhybon's shoes, where he's already a game down in this match, I don't think I would want to risk like losing entirely off of the idea that Fabul could theoretically be Magna Key, when I might have to go back to Fabul at some point. So I kind of expect that he'll go back after this.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, HP ran out on the Val, amazing. The thing is, when you're down a game, and you're wanting to shake things up a little, a lot of the times what you'll do is try and manage a strategic fade. But, yeah, I think if I were playing this seed, I would be kind of thinking that, you know what, no, the fade is not the play here. But we'll see what he concludes on this.
You know, it's always been interesting to me, that whole, like, HP ran out thing, because most bosses in this game end when their HP runs out. Just usually doesn't feel the need to say that, so... You know, I don't know why Sap is so much different here.
Yeah. Well, I guess so you know that there's a reason why, the item boss suddenly dies. Oh, we are going for that Cecil on rhybon's side.
Maybe that was just an efficiency thing where he was like, you know what, I'm gonna be flying over here, I might as well do Baron in on the way. Which, you
Might
know,
be.
makes sense.
As a man punches this town so hard it bursts into flames.
That is deeply concerning. I am very worried about the quality of buildings in Mist if, like, one punch can set them on fire, because that tells me that they probably don't have their gas line secured properly. And they should have a licensed technician out to make sure that things are safe from here on out.
I mean, maybe Yang just does enough practice every day that, you know, all he needs to do is punch things once for it to, you know, burst into flames.
That's possible, but it's very early in this seed. I don't think he's had enough time to do that much practice, because Yang scales with levels.
It's true, but, you know, appearances can be very deceptive.
Yang has just been sitting in that box doing sit-ups since we got it. We're 26 minutes in. He's done 25 minutes worth of sit-ups. He's ready to go.
And Dekar gets his arty arrows and... Do you want to say this, or should I?
Is this randomized?
Wah wah.
It's always sad when it's one of the ones with, like, a walking sprite too. I like when it's like evil wall at the package location and it's suddenly like a door just sliding through this entire establishment. Like the person at the front counter is just like flipping through their magazine instead of paying attention to who's coming in, like looks up for a second, sees a door go by, and is like, I paid enough for this job.
And Dekar is going for the Zot play. So this could be very interesting.
Surprised. If this ends up being a Cecil, this could be pretty big.
Yeah. And this is an edge, it could be pretty big. It could be a duplicate Edward and a duplicate Tella.
It could be. I'm wondering who's in bed though, and that's a Sid.
Oh, nobody cares.
Let Sid sleep.
Yeah. It's the weekend. He wants some time off, and there's our other set of guards. Here's where those Medusa arrows can come in quite easily, or Tella can. Oh, mute build, good. Oh, we're gonna berserk instead of go for a stone. Of course, Tella can himself one-shot these, but you know, Rosa's got, I think. Rosa's got that elven bow on. She's just gonna flatten these boys in blue.
Absolutely. But one thing that's really starting to get concerning for me is looking at this, we've seen both sets of guards. We've seen Cal Caprina, we've seen King and Queen Evelyn. We're seeing all these free bosses in these really early spots. What's going to be waiting for us on that hook route, and what's going to be waiting for us like if we have to go to the moon later?
That's very true. We still have Waterhack and Dark Imps unaccounted for, in terms of the truly free. We have Dark Knight Cecil, for the free-ish. Otherwise...
Karate is free-ish with the Cecil.
Yeah. But let's see who's here. Oh, that's a nice find there for Dekar.
That's really bad for rhybon.
Yeah, see, that's why I kind of agree with the call to fade that Cecil at package. Because for that, it's a fantastic information check. But, yeah.
I mean, I don't want that to seem like I'm saying that, like, rhybon made a big mistake doing what he did, but it did end up being the wrong decision for the seed. Also, Rydia is kind of not bad here. The only downside is we know that Leviathan's not an Evelyn shop.
Yeah, but I also, by the same token, I can agree with leaving her behind here. We actually have a really nice archer kit going on, so that Eddie can certainly do more work than, at this point, than an initial level Rydia. If we want to change things up later, she's in the Tower of Wishes.
Absolutely, and with Atella in this party, you gotta pretty much expect that we're probably going to be doing D-Machines, so you might as well just leave that Rydia where she's guaranteed to not be able to get experience.
Yeah, like, leave her in the can so you can slingshot her later. That Eddie is sufficient for now. Like, the most we've seen for Rydia is a, what's it? A Sylph Summon, which is, at this point, we're not super relevant. And yeah, this is fine.
Well, we were talking about free bosses earlier. Here's another one. We are really running out of free bosses at this point, so that is deeply concerning for the runners and extremely exciting for me as someone who likes, you know, watching them really work their way around difficult problems later. All those difficult problems are looking like they could pile up into the worst possible spots.
Yeah, and ooh, battle speed too high for, or too fast for the Cane to come up in time. He tried to use that life on the Cecil, And rhybon has gone to Fabul, is raiding that treasury now. Getting all of those speedy goodies.
Yeah, and I gotta feel like he's gonna be going over and doing Earth Crystal from here and gonna get the bad news that that package he sat through was not necessary, and he's gonna have a bit of time to make up. And I wonder if that's going to change the way he plays things from here, because that's gotta feel like you've just lost time. Also, harp. Do you do harp before going the hook route? I feel like you do harp before doing the hook route.
Yeah. It's 32 minutes in. Hard to say. He's doing it. Daker's doing it. He's being a man of the people for us. Speaking of man of the people, there is a Soma drop in that chest. You've got a K in rhybon. You know what to do with that.
Oh, it's the true tension there too. It's like do you use it in the like thing that will actually help you by putting the Soma drop on the Tella so you get the extra weak cast off? Or do you do it to give it to Kane so that Kane can have MP? That's the real difficult decision we're gonna have here.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves Meteor. Everybody loves 4 weak casts without having to use an ether. But Kane needs some MP.
I want him to use it on Kane. I don't think he'll use it on Kane, but I want him to use it on Kane. Also, to answer the question from chat, Kane MP for nothing, it's kind of just a meme.
Kane needs MP because he's a good boy.
Exactly. But, I mean, you gotta go with that, I guess.
It's a race in a tournament, and rhybon's down a game, so maybe memeing should take a backseat to making good moves, but
I don't know. I'm of the opinion that memeing should never take a backseat to making bad decisions for the sake of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I, as a person in the round of 0, therefore, I'm in infinite position in this tournament. Therefore, my decision is best.
Exactly, but it is music time, so we'll go ahead and let you have a listen here. We're running out of free bosses still.
Yeah, and rhybon does take that Rydia immediately. Oh, but that's a pan there. That's an interesting find.
That is the end of dodging this hook route. So both of our runners, if you assume that rhybon follows through this hook route afterwards, will be on the way there now. There is no place at all where we could find a magma key left. We can't even joke about Oh, what if it's sitting up at the Magus Sister spot? We've already seen it. We already did Tower Azot, so that pan is going to mean that the second we get underground, though, we could have that go mode right away because there are 3 free key item checks underground, and there's only 2 that we need to finish the seed.
Yeah, and of course, if you hear any grinding noises on the stream, that's just our restreamer Aska at rhybon having booted that Edward for an Eddie with a booting that Eddie for a Rydia with a Final Fantasy VI palette. That's just her teeth grinding. Don't worry about that sound.
Really, in some ways, this has got to be a great race in that regard, because it's going to really prove, who is the stronger here, Edward or Rydia. Finally, we're getting, the chance to really see what ends up being the correct choice here.
And someone in chat is pointing out that there was a blue robe at that waterfall, which that's our water hag. So we've got the dark imps left for free. Oh wait, dark elf, yes. My mistake. So no, water hag is still in the pool.
I mean, that's fitting. You would hope that water hag would be in water somewhere.
Maybe she's in Lake Okanagan.
It's possible. I mean, I guess that's what the lunar subterrane, lunar core portion is supposed to be in this case.
Yes. The natural home of the Ogopogo.
Exactly.
And that's some Canadian content for you right there.
Absolutely.
Now we are legally able to air in Canada.
Exactly, and we're also able to claim that we are an educational stream now, so, that's also helping. This broadcast has been made possible by viewers like you.
Oh, gross, that's Spigen. Nobody likes Spigen. Nobody likes Spigen at annoying spots. I see a Grimoire right there. I would be kind of inclined to pop that ASAP, but I think he just did.
Yeah, he did.
Or was that a tier 3? Yeah. Oh yeah, the Cecil did. That's just a Shiva.
I think we're gonna get music round 2 to soundtrack this Spigen fight, and I think that's gonna be very, very fitting here.
So we'll let y'all enjoy that. And we're through on that on rhybon's side. Dekar did go back for a save after that Spigen. Yeah, this Leviathan is not liable to be super hard, but it is possible for the fight to turn ugly. I rarely think it's a bad idea to go back and save between these fights.
I'd put Leviathan down as one of those bosses that you only have a problem with when you've thoroughly decided you don't have a problem with there being a Leviathan there and just go for it. So yeah, I can't disagree with that either.
Yeah, like, this is a pure magic boss, so these Ice 2s are not gonna hit us very hard, but the big waves eating a quarter of our health pretty repeatedly through our seed is, you know, it's such that we do need to keep healing up, and Rosa, as we can see here, is our primary offense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I really just sort of like view this fight as being like the sort of thing where, like, if I was playing the seed, I would say, oh, Leviathan won't be a problem, and that's when like the white text on a background pops up and the Always Sunny theme starts playing, and it shows, you know, the gang whites to Leviathan. So really, honestly, this should be fine.
Yeah. Like, this fight is pretty much under control. Rhybon here now is doing, he is doing the Emblem play now. This is something I like to see before a hook route you're thinking could be dicey. We are keeping the Rydia down for Slingshot, which is, again, why I actually prefer keeping the Eddy like Dekar did. If that Rydia is not going to do anything, you know, we can pick up characters pretty freely. You know, just leave her the Tower of Wishes, and you don't have to ever worry about an accidental full heal bringing her up and giving you XP on her.
It is kind of like the ultimate disrespect to the Edward in some ways. Like, you are less valuable to me than just me leaving this Rydia on the floor and risking all of that.
It's true, but honestly, I tend to feel like, oh! Well, that changes everything.
Was that a crystal sword? It went by for a second, but
Yes.
I'm assuming based on that it was a crystal sword.
Yeah. Well, never mind everything I have said about every single one of Rhybon's plays thus far. This seed is now free.
That is really, really, really good for Rhybon, though, because he needs a way to make up time, because he lost all that time to the package, and that is there's your way of making up all that time. So we'll see how much that pushes him forward faster. But that Leviathan fight took a long time on Dekar's side, and I have a strong feeling that Rhybon's not going to take anywhere near as long.
Yeah, like, look, for one, he got that Cecil sooner, so he's got a few more levels on that Cecil, and he's got a crystal sword on that Cecil. There's Kairatsu at the top of the tower. That is a terrible spot to run into a Kairatsu, because the one notable stat of the top of tower is hit points, and that wave, something like 4% of his hit points when it hits. Not a good spot for that.
Yeah, that is not fun. And if you were tempted to do Keyless Tower, you're not tempted to do Keyless Tower anymore. So that's going to sort of lead our runners down the same path. But again, these freebies are really exciting to me at this point, because we could have go mode right now, basically.
Yeah, because at this point, you know, the only thing we're looking for is a Darkness Crystal. So, Kairatsu can sit there until we've exhausted all of their possibilities, is my thought.
Absolutely, and then we need either Forge or the Baron Key to get the last objective at that point in time. But once we have the Darkness Crystal, we're good to do our grind. We're already pretty good on key items. We're at 7. We could even hit 10 off of this, so that could be, you know, grind time, and the rest of the seed is just steamroll from there.
Yeah. And let's see now. Oh, there's our Legend Sword. Speaking of Forge. Yeah, let's just see how much time Rhybon makes up with that Crystal Sword now. Suck up that beautiful boy and let him get to work.
Here's the big question right now is, what happens if you Adamant, a Baron Key, and a pass.
That's Miss Dragon. At this point, I prefer to think of the immortal words of the great philosopher DekarSMASH and just be like, you can leave. Just walk out. Just walk out.
I feel like that demist is literally the last thing you do at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like, even Keinatsu atop a tower is starting to look a lot more exciting right now.
I would rather fight that Keinatsu than that demist.
rhybon, to be fair, though, is probably not going to be particularly scared of that Keinatsu anyways, although he is having a bit of trouble with this Baigen fight at the moment, considering he only has 2 characters still up.
It's true, but they're strong characters. That's a strength ring. That's not what Descartes need to make up the melee gap.
rhybon is now in a situation in which the only character he still has alive is a Cecil who is berserked, and he might not make it through this Baigen fight right now.
Yeah, this is looking... Yeah, we took a reset there. Just not a good, not good. Oh, the first Berserk missed because of the heroin robe. I see. That's where that fight went south for him.
That does make sense, and also this is another one of those things where that Edward would come in very handy, because just having another character to get punched is really, really big to diffuse this Baigen a little bit.
Yeah. And here's our Sheila checks, though, so let's see what she's got for us. Are they the goods? Sand Ruby, no. That is not the goods. Baron Key is the goods, however.
We are 1 to 2 checks away from go mode at this point in time, because, I mean, if we find Adamant, then we just need to find our path to the final boss, and you need to find either Darkness or Pass at that point. So it's either Darkness Crystal or Adamant plus Pass for go mode. Adamant plus Darkness Crystal is also go mode, but it's effectively the same as Adamant plus Pass, so I'm kind of only explaining it more. Descartes is going to go check this Baron Key immediately, though, which, I mean, you kind of got to if it's an objective.
Yeah, like, you know, it's not hard required, but that is an objective, and, yeah.
I really want this to be, like, Adamant Rock here and a pass at Dwarf Castle. Because you know what would be really exciting to me is a seed with a Tella where you don't have access to the giant.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. So under those circumstances, what character would you want to see at Dwarf?
I'm not 100% sure.
Because I think obviously you're hoping for not Edge.
I mean, Edge, definitely, because Sirens, but, like, I think...
I mean, as a runner, you're hoping for Edge there, but you don't want Edge.
What am I, like, actually specifically hoping for as a viewer? Sorry, I was trying to, like, think of, like, as a runner sort of thing. No, as a viewer, I hope it's a dude. No, I have like found the nearest ironing board, and I'm gonna surf my way down this particular garbage pile here. We're gonna hope for the best.
Nice. And here's our boy in red, giving us... Hopefully he'll last long enough to give us a look at the oldie leg.
It's being awfully shy today.
Come on! Show us some there we go! The leg!
Very important. It's the unofficial mascot of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, leg.
I mean, look at that! And look, Tella doing a ton of damage!
So here's the question, is what's on this throne? Because we're out of free bosses. There's nothing that can really pose a problem here, but I feel like I'm kind of like hoping for what's the easiest thing here to just get it out of the pool. So probably like a Mylon. Oh, a CPU is interesting.
I mean, everybody loves CPU.
Definitely. And while we haven't mentioned it, rhybon did just really easily get through that Baigen at the second attempt and is now already through this hook route. So you could really tell the difference between like his Leviathan fight and Dekar's Leviathan fight, because of the time that we took to talk about other things, which was about the same time as Dekar's Leviathan fight, rhybon got through the entire hook route.
Yeah. That's a crystal sword for you right there.
So yeah, rhybon's hit like a few speed bumps, but they haven't really like put him out of the race. They just put him at a gap that he is already primed to close up. So I feel like if you're in Dekar's position, you really need this to be like the Darkness Crystals here in go mode already, so that time can't be extended out, because the longer the seed goes, the more and more rhybons should catch up.
Yeah. Alright, that's a duplicate cane, so that's not a find you really want there. And yeah, rhybon is immediately following up on his freebies. So he's hot on Dekar's heels right here.
I feel like this is one of those seeds that like you start out being able to go anywhere, but then it sends you down one extremely specific path to get through the rest of it. So I kind of expect that rhybon will just keep following in Dekar's footsteps, which is not the worst thing in the world because we know he should get through it faster. But at the same time, it's not gonna give him the chance of just finding something else. Hey, there's a magma key.
Amazing. Thanks, Sheila. But yeah, that's the thing, is that right now we have options for where to go, but we have not really had compelling reasons to deviate from this specific path that both of our runners have been following. Now that we're through all this, we are gonna see a few different things. Dwarf does make sense to me here. There's an Odin at the boss spot.
Here's the question if you're in rhybon's position. Is you have a crystal sword Cecil, you're already underground, you have a Luca key. How much of the underground do you continue clearing without going up to check those two hand checks?
Absolutely,
because I feel like
not a bit.
Yeah.
Like even with the weapon, yeah, it's like because the problem with the other two checks, the non-dwarf castle checks, is not whether you can take them, and it's not even whether you can take them quickly. It's that there's so much walking.
I feel like Sealed Cave in particular is kind of like unappealing, and yeah, door grind was just mentioned in chat. That's a possibility for getting your XP. I'm also interested if rhybon tries and takes this demist while he's down here, because that could be another big change.
Not with a crystal sword Cecil. Like, no. Oh no, he's gonna go for it. No! Oh god, no. Why? No.
If he gets through this, that's a pretty big if, but it's possible.
It's not a question of if he can win, because at that spot, you know, it's not a super hard physical spot. He can take this, it's just gonna take so much time. Oh, he's using a silver staff for it. Oh no, we're doing the Zerk the Zerk Bastus trick. But oh, I hate this.
Oh, this already taken out two characters at this point. I mean, it's only gonna hit once more, so I was about to say, as long as it doesn't take out Tella, we're in good shape. And, you know, he should be able to put Blink on that Cecil, get everyone else up, bit by bit here and just have Cecil cover everyone if he wants. So that is a possibility. And yeah, there's the cover on Tella. So this is pretty safe. I just really wonder how long this is going to take.
That's my concern. You know, you're gonna be here all day long. That's good for rhybon. That being a pass, like you want to get a pass, obviously, but that's not progression of any sort. Charm and Sorcerer, nice finds in those item shops. Shops.
Pass does mean that no matter what, we're one key item away from go mode, though, and there's still a good amount on the table down here. There's D-Mist on the table, there's Luke Key on the table, there's Kanatsu on the table if you're feeling spicy, and it looks like, well, he's gonna go shopping in Tamra.
Yeah. Like, at this point, I think Dekar's looking for a light sword in a shop. There is very little chance of him getting that crystal.
Oh, absolutely. If he didn't do the Eblin trap chest before going underground, I don't think he's going to do the Eblin trap chest at this point. So almost certainly this is going to be his only way of getting a better weapon unless he happens to luck into it somewhere else.
Yes, and he did not get any sort of good thing there, so... Yeah, as chat points out, no matter what, progression is behind something that's gonna take a long time.
We know that Darkness Crystal has to be, like, between 3 different locations at this point in time. It has to be either behind this D-Mist, behind this Luffy Cave, or behind that keyless tower. So we do know that one of those has to be Darkness. The question of what is one of the other 2 an Adamant Rock that might mean you don't need that Darkness Crystal at this point, at least to me.
Yeah. Honestly though, with Dekar's number of key items, I would turn encounters on before even popping any of those doors that he's going through on his critical path. I would take the doors on the route, just because it is looking more and more like it is gonna be a very good chance of not having a quote-unquote good grind, and he's got the key items to make XP worthwhile off this, and you're never sad to have a level.
Yeah, I know the last time I saw a door grind in a restreamed race, it was done on the way out, and it was sort of like a thing of opportunity where just sort of like, I might as well do a door grind because I'm walking out of here. So maybe that's what Dekar's thinking, especially where he doesn't have a way of casting warp and he's going to have to walk all the way out anyways if he finds something here. But that really does depend on what's here, and it's a white spear.
Yeah, so all doors are available. So if I'm Dekar, I'm going to Kairatsu right now, and he is, yeah.
And to answer a question from chat, this is the Asura spot.
The Leviathan spot holds Goldbet. I hope he has a nice life there.
I mean, I assume he is. I mean, you never know. I mean, with how differently time supposedly flows down in the Fame Arch, except for this period of time in which we're in here, like, if that was really the case, then rhybon's party would be in their 90s by now, not just Tella. But, like, you know, at some point in time, Golbez is just gonna, like, be able to live out his life, retire to his nice farm, and just, you know, really, really enjoy himself.
Yeah, and I mean, the nice thing is, you know, because the land of the Summon Lantern is underground, that means it's never going to be too cold, which means it's going to be fine when he takes his shirt off.
Exactly.
See,
the after years can't hurt you if you don't do it. But
true.
You should play it.
No, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. No, you should play the after years. But you should look at pictures of Golbez without his shirt on.
Absolutely. which is part of the after years, which did. Yes, Tower can be Vanilla Key to Spoon, but do you want to be Vanilla Key to Spoon when it could be Adamant Rock in full chaos mode?
I mean, I would love to see the frantic, some frantic running back and forth after the fight is over. The universal signal to everybody watching that. Wah! Oh, that's an arty bow. I love seeing that.
I mean, it's a nice bonus present for your Rosa if you want to put it on her for a while. I'm not sure if you put it on it later, but I'm sure he'll go up and double check right now who or what that Demas key item is, so that's going to be real important.
Yeah, because I mean, he's desperately hoping that to have value, because like just in the time of him taking that fight, Dekar did 2.5 full checks. The dwarf, the Luca, and now into the Kairatsu. So he is hoping very much for this to have some sort of value to him.
50-50 shot at it being a darkness crystal.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's so interesting.
50-50 shot at that being a darkness crystal.
And now he's gonna cash in his Sheila checks.
Yeah, here's the question. How long does he go before he chases? Like, when he's gonna get that Baron key.
Yeah, you gotta do that Baron key first, because you know that's an objective.
I kind of just get the feeling that that was not a good thing for rhybon to find there. Unless it is exactly like Darkness Crystal. Because we don't know that Adamant is on the planet. It might be on the moon. So it's kind of looking sketchy. But we're about to find out what is from this Kairatsu.
That's a Darkness Crystal.
That's go mode. That is not good for rhybon.
Yeah, that is not good for rhybon at all.
I guess there's two ways of thinking about it. On the one hand, rhybon is going to have to go through Baron. But on the other hand, maybe that tower key makes him consider, I've done demist, I need to try and make it pay off and go to tower instead of going to like Dwarf Castle. And maybe he does the top of it first. So that might actually help in some ways. But it really just depends on what happens once he gets through this Baron check.
Honestly, I feel like, if there's something really nasty in Cave Bahamut and rhybon blitzes dwarf, he does a Penguinator special for Adamant, then he does doors, he might have a chance. But it's gonna be rough. That's not something he wants. That's some Galaxy Brain plays right there. And yeah. rhybon has, as chat points out, he is hard committed to this Rydia slingshot.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to how far our runners grind as well. Because I feel like Dekar doesn't have to grind anywhere near as far, because he's probably just going to want, enough HP on his Berserkers and Cure 4 on Rosa. And he's probably happy with that. It's going to be a bit slow, but it's doable. rhybon has to get enough XP to get the nuke on Rydia, and that's a much longer grind.
Yeah, and without a darkness, getting that nuke on Rydia is much harder. Ironically, he's in a much, much, much better shape if he had kept the Eddy, because at that point you could already Eddy, you get him up to like level 50-ish, and he'll do acceptable but not great damage. And frankly, when you got a Crystal Sword Cecil and a reasonably endgame weapon, Cade, acceptable damage is sufficient for a third for a third fighter on Zerobus. But he is gonna get a bit of time because Dekar is gonna go do a D machine now.
And is gonna take the Rydia to it. So there's slingshot on both sides, so that will even out the grind at very least, because they're both gonna basically have the exact same amount of D machines to do.
Yeah.
So that's good. Although I wonder who's up here on the moon, if that might change things too, because
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you find an edge up here, a Sid or a Yang or something like that. A Sid would actually be pretty nice just to have Chemist, although apparent not that nice.
No, we've already got access to Sid with that Sand Ruby. I don't even think you want to switch to a Siren Grind here. At this point, you want the D machine. It's gotta be faster. That said, if you could say, goodbye, Rydia.
Well, goodbye, Rydia.
Or indeed, as pointed out, a double slingshot. Perfect sense there, because Dekar does not have that crystal sword. We drop the Cecil, we're gonna double sling.
Okay, so in that case, what does rhybon do when he finds that Palom? Does he just get rid of the Rydia, take the Palom instead, and keep the Cecil because he has the crystal sword in that case, which could be an interesting change. I think this is still very much Dekar's race to lose, but there are little points where rhybon could make up time, and then that Z fight's never guaranteed, so you might just need to make up that time, and that's it.
Yeah, the way I see it, he's got two options. If he got there right now, right this second, the two options that I would look at, swap the Rydia for the Palom, just because that's gonna give you fewer D machines straight off, or you drop your Cane and then you double sling your Rydia and your Palom. Just depends on what kind of a Zerobus fight you like.
Yeah, I think in rhybon's case with that crystal sword, Reflect is not going to be so much faster than whatever hybrid he could end up with that he would want to commit to 100% Reflect strats. I mean, he could, but I'm not sure it would make a huge difference there, just because Cecil Berserk with a crystal sword is like having another source of nuke that goes off even faster. So, I don't know. I think there's possibly differences here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, yeah, no, under no circumstances does rhybon go for full Reflect. It's just a question of if for him a second nuker is going to do more damage than a Berserk Cane, and given what he's found weapon-wise, I think the best weapon he's got is probably, I think, that Poison Axe, maybe, or that Cane. I don't think he's wearing anything particularly good on that Cane. The second nuke will do more damage even in a hybrid situation.
Definitely. I think, yeah, again, this could be adamant for rhybon here at the Super Cannon Room. So there is still that out too. Mylon,
yes. Yeah.
Is Mylon.
Yeah, so we still have a Pegwadator special option here, and if he's feeling behind enough, that could be something.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, it's really, really hard to say because, I feel like rhybon does feel like he's behind. He took that wipe at Vigan. He took that package that he now knows is not necessary because he found the Cecil at Tower of Zot. He's almost certainly got to feel behind, but I'm not sure if he feels behind enough to fade the top of tower, but I guess
he's going for it. He's going for it. Right, so this could be nothing. It could be a spoon, could be a pink tail. Okay, he's dropping a save down here just in case this doesn't pan out. AKA the Coward's Penguinator special. And let me pull up my chart here. Next fight we'll do it, or if it's not that, then the one in the next room.
Here's the question for me with rhybon's play here. is he goes back in after this no matter what, right? Because even if this is adamant, he doesn't have a way of getting to the Z fight, and I would think that he would almost certainly want to just go back up the tower at that point.
Nah, then you go to Dwarf and you hope it's something. But let's see here what we got. Oh, that's no good for rhybon. Adamant is on the moon.
That is deeply unfortunate for him, but he will get his Darkness Crystal out of this, so at very least he's skipped Dwarf Castle, and that will make up some of the time, which he will probably then lose to having to walk down to the Zeromus fight anyways. But, I mean, maybe he'll still make up a few seconds on it, so that is still something there.
Yeah, right now I think his best chance, is for, swapping out that Rydia for a Palom and going for a shorter grind.
Definitely, but I don't think even that's shorter enough to make up for it. How many fewer D machines do you need for a Palom than a Rydia if you're slingshotting?
I'm not sure. I think it's probably only like 1 or 2 at most. But at this point, you gotta make up everything you can. He will have a faster Kairatsu fight, obviously, because of the Crystal Sword Cecil.
Yeah, I think what I want to say about this right now, because I think we're kind of thinking about this in terms of how far behind rhybon is in the seed, is that rhybon is not really behind because he's made like bad decisions or anything. He's just made decisions that aren't right for the seed. He's taken a few risks that haven't paid off. He had that really unfortunate wipe to Baigen that was basically just RNG. So I just want to like quickly mention that right now, that if we're talking about rhybon not necessarily having the best time at the moment and being a bit behind, it's not his fault.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as we've been throughout this, all the plays that he's been making, it have made sense. They're not necessarily the plays that they're not the plays that Dekar chose to make, or that necessarily other people would have chosen to make. But there are certainly plays that people would have chosen to make, and you know, they made good sense. It's just they were not the correct ones in this situation. So
yeah, that's just kind of the spirit of the randomizer in the end.
And the other thing to point out too is that rhybon is brand spanking new at this game. He just came up through the brand new Pink Puff League for new players. Yeah, like he's doing extremely well. It's just how it goes. You know, you make, you know, it's a game of chance.
Absolutely, and it's kind of hard to talk about things like that in this case too, because like it's one of those things where we don't want to seem like we're being negative about it. That's why we're mentioning this too, just to make sure that it's well noted that it's not something that rhybon's done wrong.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a D-Machine grind going on one side and a K-Not-So fight on the other, and honestly, neither one of those is particularly interesting right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it is the year 2021. We have all... Who's among us has not been traumatized enough by call center work to go, oh no, we can't have any dead air, we need to talk about something. Let's talk about how much we love rhybon, because rhybon is really cool.
Yeah, and one thing that you brought up in that was the Pink Puff League, which is a great segue into reminding you all to give a shout out and a follow to our behind-the-scenes restream team, including our restreamer Oscar424, the sort of head of the Pink Puff League. So yeah, that's important to note, as well as Scythe Marshall doing the tracking, both doing an excellent job, as well as both our runners, and also to Neon, who I'm having a great amount of fun with this race, so
Oh.
glad to be here with you.
Yeah, and of course, shout out to Amph, who also has been fantastic to hang out with, and just to chat with and talk over some people doing some racing.
So, Dekar's got to be out of this Deep Machine grind here soon.
Yeah, I have not kept track, but yeah, you don't need a ton for a slingshot. 7 to get Rydia fully up, and as was nicely pointed out in chat, thank you very much.
That was Pushball who pointed that out. Okay, I wanted to make sure to mention who it was for the benefit of the YouTube audience.
Yes, if you are watching on YouTube, hello YouTube, it is Pushwall who helpfully gave us that information, and who is also a good and cool person.
So, rhybon has headed up here. He's gonna check that.
Let's see what he does with the Palom.
This is the downside of being, like, knowing that we've got all of the big free bosses out of the way, is that you can't just beat Cave Bahamut and hope it's something free. Even Mylon and Friends is out of the pool, and that's like the default, well, if there aren't any free bosses, it might as well be boss, so...
Well, there's Dark Imps. There's still Dark Imps. And a box of nerds.
There's something about nerds wants to join the party that really... it's very funny to me.
And I have not seen a faster Rydia yeet in a long, long time.
Oh, he's gonna go for it. That's exciting.
Level 58 Palom, look at that, boy. 54 on Rydia, there's our nuke.
I don't know if this check on Cave Bahamut is going to really pay out for rhybon here, unless he has a different plan in mind. So he's gonna go in there and see, but, you know, gotta hope it's one of those 2 free bosses probably, or he's almost certainly gonna have to exit out and come back after a grind.
Yeah, like, his levels are really kinda low for me to like this check this late in the seed. Behemoths.
Do you get enough XP from 3 behemoths in the Cave Bahamut spot to get Palom up high enough to make it worth it? Do you even take Palom to nuke with this party? Or do you assume that your Rosa, your Crystal Sword Cecil, and your Kain might be enough at this point?
I think rhybon thinks he's behind, but I don't think he realizes in what kind of panic mode he's actually in.
I like this play if his goal is just to do, like, power couple strats with Crystal Sword Cecil and Rosa and just get through that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that's a fast enough Z-fight that even if he, like, were to come out of this ahead, which is not quite going to happen because Dekar is here and is not going to be fighting these random encounters on the way down, but that's going to be a slower Z-fight, too.
Yeah, our people who know our XP math, which I play XP pretty fast and loose. Our people who know our XP math are saying this should be okay, so I will trust them. And who do we have down here? That's a boss.
Ew, that's not pleasant.
You know what makes this boss a lot more pleasant?
Not having to fight it.
Yes, but also boatloads of nuke. And yes, Asuka, Eddie makes this nicer.
If you're rhybon, do you fly back down, take the Edward back?
No. I'm sorry, it's too late to go back for Eddie.
There's no turning back now. Very good question in chat. Moon gravity is lower, so the wall shouldn't hurt as much when it falls on you, right? Which, that checks out.
I mean, I feel like with less gravity, all the physical punches should hit less hard. Why are there so many high physical damage spots on the moon when there's less gravity?
I mean, did you see the moon landing footage? They could barely walk, let alone throw a punch.
It's true.
It's like, why is karate not a free fight? So because he kicks once and then just floats off and doesn't ever come back down.
Yeah, like... Well, that's a sword for a character who is not apparently in this seed.
That's a sword. That's a crystal in Dekar's hand, and he's going to be headed back to go through the pass at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no proceeding through the moon on that.
Question in chat of, isn't this a mysterious second moon, not the real moon? I don't know. I couldn't understand the After Years story well enough to tell you which one was the real moon anymore. I think this is supposed to be the fake moon, and the other one is supposed to be the real moon, but...
Yeah, that's not After Years, that's actually Vanilla Story.
Is it? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, you go talk to the guy at Eggert with the telescope, and he'll tell you about it.
Oh, yeah, because when I played through this in Pixel Remaster, I pointedly avoided him because I didn't want to listen to his speech. So that makes sense.
Wow! That's so rude.
Sorry. I was trying to get all the achievements in one sitting. I did not have time for that.
Including the level 70 achievement for everybody in one sitting?
I gave up after, like, 90 sirens on the pink tail, so... Anyways,
you can
speaking
buy
of...
sirens now with that.
Yeah, but this was on launch day. Anyways, there's some flags and stuff in the chat and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, it's only 20 to 8 in my time zone. I'm not that sleepy. What do you think? What's going on here with them?
I think people just like the color blue, which, you know, I gotta agree with. It's a very nice blue color. That's why we were talking about this at the start with that Rosa palette. We got all the great shades of blue, but also there's like 520 plus sprites that can be behind the Zeromus spot, because we can't like move Zeromus. He's mean. He will like show up and be like, hi, and then you can't get through the check, and it's not very fun. So we randomize the appearance instead, and that does lead to a question.
Yeah, how's your butt?
That's a very good question. You notice how Zeroma's is even blue? There's a lot of blue.
Yes, in conclusion, whose butt face are we gonna deface?
Whose cuisine reigns supreme? All those other questions.
How many butts are there? How many butts are we gonna see today? Just one.
Oh, that is Disgaea 1?
Yeah, Seraph Lamington, I believe.
Yes. Good sprite.
Yes.
Probably qualifies as cute.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cute. I would say this butt is pretty suplexable.
Absolutely. And also, this fight is an interesting one. It's probably pretty stable, but there are chances for it to go sideways. I kind of like view any reflect-based strategy as being like, you're kind of basically saying, I'm sacrificing like a real guarantee for a little bit of risk, just because their HP values tend to be a bit lower on casters, and there's always a chance of just getting high rolled by Zeromus. So that's gonna be very interesting as we actually get into this fight.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna be fine if just given the general higher magic defense on characters. That was very interesting. Using an early cast to try and let the cast time on a lit 3 from that Palom allow you to cast that early, so you don't have to worry about being able to not cast or not hit or not.
That's very interesting, because I was wondering what that lit 3 was for, and that does make a lot of sense. That's actually a really good application of game knowledge. I think the question is, with these 3 reflects going off and even Tele getting in on the action with these lit 3s, do we even get to another big bang at this point?
No, not at all. We're cranking out the damage here.
So, as a quick explanation, for any of you who are not familiar with reflect strats in chat, Zeromus doesn't actually have the, 120,000 HP the game pretends he has. He actually just cheats by refilling his own HP halfway through. But that's a counterattack, and reflecting spells like this does not trigger counterattack. So if you chew through his initial 65,000, like Dekar just did to win this race, he falls over like that.
And we are joined in chat by Dekar. GG. Gorgeous Zeromus fight right there. Amazing work on that.
GG. Thank you. Yeah, 3 well-equipped reflecting mages. It's pretty straightforward, especially when you have a Silk Web.
Yeah, and I really like the way you work that lit 3 on Palom for the early cast on that. Like I've never thought to do that, and that was really clever.
Well, the better thing to do would have been to have him in the top slot and Rosa in the bottom, because then he could have walled, she could have queued white, and I wouldn't have had to do any Fire 3, Ice 3, Lit 3, but it was a good way to sort of do a fake white.
Yeah, no, worked perfectly there. So you are moving forward. Let's see, I believe this means you're gonna be up against Possum next round?
No, I think it's a Stone Dingley.
Oh, Stone Dingley, sorry. I need to look at the brackets and see who's coming up next, and...
Yeah, Possum gets the privilege of taking on Pancras, if I remember correctly.
That'll be fun to watch.
So going back a bit, what are your general thoughts on this seed as a whole? Because this was one of those really interestingly laid out seeds that felt like it kind of shepherded you down one very specific path.
Yeah, I thought early on it felt really rude. It was kind of hard to get started. I didn't find any good loot. There was a dupe Tella on Hobbs. It started to open up more when I got the Cane and I had the Gungnir for him. And then even more so when I got the Treasury and the Hero and Robe. In terms of routing, I think there were a couple of important points. First, if you faded Harp, which I considered, then you don't get the Pan and you don't get the Baron Key, and it plays out, I think, very differently. But other than that, there's sort of the demist, which I really was not well set up for with the way my party was configured. And Kainatsu was not really something you want to do in Keyless Tower either, but you had to... I was faced with picking one of those, and I went with the Kainatsu. Turned out to be right.
Yeah, and just to cut in, looks like rhybon has forfeit after that. Hard to blame him considering. Question for you, Dekar. Did rhybon tell you where the good loot was?
No, he did not.
There was a crystal sword in that stone man chest in Ablin Castle.
Haha. Yeah, I mean, I thought about maybe doing Eblin, but when I had a party that was already pretty strong, and I knew the Ruby spot boss was just Leviathan, I didn't think I needed to roll the dice on the Holy Sword.
Yeah, no, completely fair cop, and it's certainly paid off for you, so can't complain that way either.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, GG to you. Sounds like honestly a pretty straightforward seed, I think. Do you have any questions, Inth?
No, I just want to. Well, actually, I guess I did have one question. Obviously, we touched on next week. You're going to be up against Stone Dingley in the round of 8. What are your thoughts on how the tournament goes from here, and what are your hopes for next week?
Well, I have to say, no disrespect to any of the other runners who are still in it. The top 8 are all incredibly good. But Stone Dingley in particular is one of the people who I'd sort of hoped to avoid. Probably one of the 3 or 4 hardest matches in the whole brackets, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a really tough one and a really good one. And as far as the tournament as a whole, I've had a lot of fun, and I think it's been really great. And even though these flags have gotten some criticism for the way they play out with the grinds sometimes, I actually think the ZZ4 flag set has proved to be a pretty good one.
Honestly, I enjoy it fairly well. I think it's got an interesting bit of variety, even if the grind tends to come down to please don't make me have to demachine, but it's a good skill to have, and it's a good skill to be on the table there like that. So, GG to you again then, and that's gonna be a heck of a matchup next week.
Well, thanks guys on the Restream team for all your hard work, and I look forward to seeing you in the next round.
Yeah, I'll be happy to call you again if my number comes up for you.
Absolutely. Thank you again to Dekar, our winner tonight. And we do have to inform you, of course, that rhybon has decided not to give an interview tonight, which, after tonight, I cannot at all blame him. Again, GG's to him. Please make sure you give a follow to both of our runners tonight. And I think that is it for the round of 16.
Yeah, and again, GG rhybon, heck of a run. Again, I have to stress, brand new player, first tournament, already coming up to the round of 16. Keep an eye on rhybon for our next league, or tournament, or whatever comes up next. Keep an eye on him on the ladder. He's gonna be one to watch, going forward, because, you know what, if you come to the round of 16 on your first go-round, be there or be scared for the next time, because he's gonna eat people's faces.
Absolutely. And I believe with that, we are going to be sending you all over to Let's Racing Time with some head-to-head FE racing. I have been and hopefully will continue to be in the future. And again, thank you all for joining us, and thank you again, Neon.
And thank you, Anth. And yeah.
Oh yeah, no spoilers.
You'll get the bonk if you do. And not the good bonk, the bad bonk.